Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Licensed to Roam. You can follow me on Twitter/X at Edward Stratman. And if you enjoyed the video, would really appreciate a like, subscribe, and any comments as I get started and hope to grow the channel. All right, for this analysis, I'll be focusing on tactically flexible Barcelona talent. Hector Fort's superb showing against Atletico Madrid as a 17-year-old put in a performance littered with upside against one of the heavy hitters in La Liga in place of Cancelo, with him rising to the occasion emphatically, like many of Barca's other high-profile youngsters. Indeed, his output was made all the more impressive due to him being forced to play out of position and still enjoying an immense contribution on both sides of the ball. Intelligent, fundamentally sound, making fine decisions, reading the play so coherently, and operating with a maturity that belies his tender years. He was nothing short of excellent, as he was the latest talent to flex his muscles in what was just his fourth La Liga game this term. Indeed, it was a testament to how good he was that he didn't look out of place at all. He was just so comfortable at this elite professional level. He just handled it all with aplomb, with him executing his roles and responsibilities brilliantly. Obviously, onto the analysis. Start with the graphics. That's obviously the base team sheet for Barcelona there. You can see him filling in on the left. Obviously, the main contribution, I guess we could see, was the overloads he helped cause in wide areas. And this was just before Barcelona's first goal, where he's helping form that 4v3. He does a nice little jink inside to open the passing lane, to then open the field of play. And then Barcelona proceed to score from this passage. So just really smart, a lot of composure and calm just in those pressure situations was a real highlight. Another situation here where he's just formed that 4v3 diamond shape there to help Barcelona progress, give them solutions. Even if he wasn't used, he was always making himself available to either be found directly or via third-man combinations, and he was fully aware that his teammates were pinning their own markers. See a similar situation here, helping form that 4v3. Has that situational awareness here. He's obviously got the ball back to goal, but he has the presence of mind to just narrow that one off inside to the free man once that passing lane becomes available. So just really clever passage again there. Obviously noticing he passes it back against the grain of that pressure so Barcelona can continue the attack and open up the field. See another situation here where he's forming that 4v3 out wide in the diamond, notices the Atletico players going to press, and then in this situation he receives the ball and then plays a really nice 1-2, and then that obviously you can see Lewandowski in the middle bottom of the frame there, and he uses that space that Barcelona then draw out the players. Obviously Ford gets the 1-2, and then Lewandowski can attack all that space in behind. So just really making things happen, proving the catalyst for space creation and to help his teammates, and just always just not necessarily involved heavily, but when he was, it was just really impressive, and it just showed his game IQ in a lot of ways. Obviously mixing things up in this situation, he's embarked on an underlap. He's noticed that Felix has pulled wide, drawn his marker with him, and Fort sees the space to run into, and he duly does that. So just another string to his bow to add some variety. When he noticed those gaps, he's ready to exploit them. And same situation on the overlap, sees that Felix is dribbling forward, and he gets on the overlap there, sees a 3v2, and he can surge into the space there. And then he proceeds to play a really fine cutback cross into the box to create an opening for Felix in the end there. So just amplifying his menace. See a really interesting situation here where Felix and Lewandowski have rotated. Atletico Madrid are just obviously pinned towards Lewandowski, not sure who to mark in that situation. This obviously leaves Fort completely free out wide. He's got that field of view. He can open things up, draw the pressure, and the way he read the play, and he was just so comfortable in high pressure situations. He's obviously forward facing there, so he has that extra time. He didn't really give the ball away at all. He cut inside really nicely and just had that sort of peace of mind to play the right passes, not doing anything too crazy, and notice what was going on around him in terms of his teammates and the defenders. Another nice little run here where Felix has drawn two players. Fort starts his run and exploits that space in behind there that's been vacated. So obviously surges upfield with his excellent run and then plays a really handy cross to create a chance. So just always impacting proceedings. When the moment was right, he timed those runs forward. In other situations, he'd stay deeper to provide structural security, to give the freedom to the likes of Felix and Lewandowski, but just really impressive. Waited for his moment to pounce and then did so. This is a graphic here of his situational awareness too. Obviously Felix has strategically drawn his marker and pinned him. Fort's peeled off the blind side of his own marker too to attack that space in behind down the channel, to get on the overlap, make the most of the space created for him. So just constantly you could see things ticking away in his mind, the spatial awareness, the tactical understanding. And he just fulfilled his role so admirably, and this was a fine case in point. A similar situation here where obviously Felix is pinning Molina in field. Barcelona move the ball quickly, and then Fort has all that space to surge into, pass, dribble, shoot, create the flow on effect, draw a man, then find one of his attackers. So just really was always awake to what was going on around him. And in this situation with Barcelona, if they had that central occupation, he could add that width and depth to attack to stretch that Atletico defense while being the spare man. It's a good option here. Barcelona, a feature of this game. Ter Stegen would obviously go straight to Lewandowski to look to beat that press. It was working quite well in stages for Atletico, especially in the first half. And he's just underneath Lewandowski, ready to receive the third man combination, be that beneficiary, just to give him an option. Because as you can see, Atletico Madrid's sort of condensing that space around him and swarming towards him because they're obviously pressing from behind. And that means that they're well positioned, the midfielders, to then be first to attack Lewandowski. So Fort gave him that really nice option to complete the third man combination there. And then he can obviously receive forward facing, entire field of view to sort of do whatever he'd like there, wait for the teammates to support him. Obviously, he returned the favour in terms of the space creation here, where he's drawn out Molina, and that's perfectly made space for Felix to get up the flank to complete this really nice up-back through sequence that's obviously ensured that Atletico Madrid get drawn towards the ball. They're all ball watching, preoccupied with their own assignments, and then that allows Felix to be completely free and behind. So Fort definitely played his role in this instance. Another sequence here where he's actually effectively drawn the pressure to open that passing lane into the dropping Felix. So once again, doesn't need to have the ball to directly impact situations and to benefit his teammates. So just another testament to his IQ there. Situation here. We saw many glimpses of his line-breaking passing. Obviously, he kept it simple for the most part, but when he saw the opening arise, like you see here, he smartly played that diagonal line-breaking pass into Lopez. And I guess the joy of diagonal passes, it can move those blocks two ways, horizontally and vertically. But in this situation, he just found it, saw the free man, and he duly hit him up. So the defensive side, he was very good, very disciplined and organised. And his high pressing was obviously a feature of this, where he'd see his man drop deep with their back to goal. And that'd obviously be the trigger for him to pounce and look to really heap the pressure. And there was quite a few times in this game where he created those high turnovers to then create some promising situations for Barcelona against that sort of retreating, unset backline. So this was a nice feature of his too, with athleticism and the way he physically imposed himself. Wanted to highlight this passage too, where Fort's actually tracked Molina's run really smartly. And he's actually noticed Kubasi is dealing with Llorente, and the really nice cross actually is going in Llorente's way, and Kubasi's a little bit caught out by it, but Fort reads the situation and the ball flight and the trajectory of it so well, and he darts across, shows great judgment and decision making in the moment. Obviously, his compact starting position helps him, so he gets across and gets the intervention in, so the danger's cleared. But yeah, just hardly put his foot wrong and just getting those little fundamentals right. And he knew the moment to sort of hold his post, step up, drop back, support a teammate. He got it all right in this one. So this was a particularly excellent example where he had the confidence and trust in his decision making to make the difference. And then finally, his last meaningful action before being substituted with a little niggle really just sort of epitomised what a great performance he has, where Molina's surged forward and he's tracked that run brilliantly. Despite having his back to goal initially, he was so awake to it, so he used his athleticism to jet back and make a fine tackle to stop that Atletico Madrid attack dead in the water. So just a great way to cap off a brilliant game. Obviously, you can see his heat map, obviously operating in those wide areas. Got forward on occasion, was obviously defending deeper at times too, but mainly in that area around the halfway line in wide areas and in the half spaces was where he did most of his work. As you can see, the pass connection map, combination map, and just sort of the average positioning map there, you can see him obviously had that great sort of link up play with Felix, especially where they dovetailed really well to make space for one another and create some really quality situations to get at that Atletico Madrid backline in what was a really statement win and a statement performance by the extremely talented young man Hector Fort. Xavi had some really high praise for him after the game. He said he was brilliant. It's not his position, but he doesn't complicate himself. He plays easily, with personality, without fear, and with the desire to succeed. That's the key. He plays to what he sees, attacks spaces in the ideal moment. Obviously, we have been speaking with him, have done videos with him because it is not his position, but he can play it perfectly. So yeah, really summed up what a great performance it was there. His coach who obviously appreciates all he brings to the table on both sides of the ball. Obviously, that's the end of the analysis. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and leave a comment. Would really appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time to watch the video and have a great day. Stay tuned for the next analysis.